Do you know that you've been using a hidden superpower every second of your life without ever knowing its name? Imagine it's 3 a.m. Your room is completely dark. You suddenly wake up because you're thirsty. Without turning on the lights, without looking around, you reach over to your bedside table and grab your water bottle. Easy, right? Now here's the strange part. How did your hand know exactly where to go? Think about it. You couldn't see your hand. You couldn't see the bottle. Yet somehow, your arm moved in the right direction, your fingers wrapped around the bottle, and you didn't even have to think about it. It's almost like your body has its own built-in navigation system. And that's just one example. How do you scratch an itch on your back without looking? How do you pull your phone out of your pocket while talking to someone? How do you climb a staircase without staring at your feet like you're solving a math problem? Most of us never stop to ask these questions because our bodies make it all look effortless. But behind every one of those tiny actions, your brain is performing calculations that would put some computers to shame. And here's the craziest part. You were probably taught that humans have 5 senses: sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. It sounds complete. It's simple. It's easy to remember. There's just one tiny problem. It's not the whole story. Scientists now know that your body relies on several other senses you've probably never heard of, and one of them is working every single second you're awake, even while you're sitting perfectly still. In fact, without it, you wouldn't be able to walk across a room. You couldn't pick up your phone. You couldn't type this sentence. You might not even be able to stand. So why has almost nobody ever told you about it? And how has this incredible ability stayed hidden in plain sight for your entire life? Let's find out. That hidden ability has a name: proprioception. It sounds complicated, but the idea behind it is surprisingly simple. Proprioception is your brain's ability to know exactly where every part of your body is, even when you can't see it. Right now, without looking, your brain already knows where your left foot is. It knows where your right elbow is. It knows the position of your shoulders, even your tongue, all without needing your eyes. And here's something even stranger. You don't have to ask your brain to figure it out. It already knows. Every single second. Imagine trying to control a character in a video game, except your screen is turned off. Sounds impossible, right? Yet that's exactly what your brain avoids every moment of your life. It's constantly keeping track of your entire body behind the scenes. Think about how many times you've used this hidden sense today. You probably reached into your backpack without looking, adjusted your headphones while focusing on something else, pulled your chair closer before sitting down. Maybe you stretched your arms after waking up. None of those actions felt difficult. In fact, they felt so normal that you probably didn't even notice them. That's because your brain has been practicing this skill since the day you were born. It's become so good at it that it feels almost automatic, kind of like breathing. You don't wake up every morning and remind yourself, okay, brain, don't forget where my legs are today. Thankfully, your brain has that covered. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, no coffee breaks, no vacations. But this raises an even bigger question. How can your brain keep track of more than 600 muscles, over 200 bones, and hundreds of joints, all at the same time? Surely it isn't guessing. So, how does it always know exactly where your body is? The answer begins with thousands of tiny sensors hidden inside you. You might think your brain simply knows where your body is, but that's not what happens. Your brain isn't guessing, it's getting live updates every second. Hidden inside your muscles, tendons, and joints are thousands of tiny sensors. Think of them as tiny reporters. Each one has a simple job. Some report how much a muscle stretches, others report how hard a muscle is pulling, and some keep an eye on the angle of your joints. Individually, they don't know much, but together, they paint a complete picture of your body. It's almost like every part of your body is constantly sending text messages to your brain. Your left knee just bent, your right hand is moving, your shoulder just rotated. Everything's under control, and these messages never stop. Not when you're running, not when you're sleeping, not even when you're sitting completely still. In fact, even right now, as you're watching this video, your body is making tiny adjustments that you're completely unaware of. Your back muscles tighten a little, your neck shifts ever so slightly, your ankles make tiny corrections to keep you balanced. You don't notice any of it because your brain handles it automatically. Imagine if it didn't. Every time you reach for a glass, you'd have to carefully watch every inch of your arm. Every step would need your full attention. Simply standing still would become exhausting. Thankfully, your brain has a much smarter system. It listens to thousands of these tiny reporters, combines all their information in an instant, and creates a live map of your entire body. A map that's updated over and over again, every single second. But here's where things become truly incredible. Your brain isn't just reading these reports. In many situations, it's already predicting what those reports are going to say before they even arrive. At this point, you might be thinking, so my brain waits for these tiny sensors to send information? Not exactly, because your brain has a clever shortcut. Instead of waiting, it makes a prediction. Think about throwing a ball to a friend. Your arm moves, your wrist turns, your fingers let go at just the right moment. If your brain waited for every signal to come back before making the next move, you'd probably throw the ball somewhere into another zip code. Instead, your brain predicts what should happen next. Then it quickly checks if its prediction was correct. If everything matches, you don't even notice. The movement feels smooth, natural, effortless. But if something doesn't go as expected, your brain instantly makes tiny corrections, usually before you even realize something went wrong. It's like having an autocorrect, not for your words, but for your entire body. And here's a fun way to see this prediction system in action. Have you ever tried to tickle yourself? Go ahead, try it. I'll wait. Doesn't really work, does it? That's because your brain already knows exactly what your fingers are about to do. So when your fingers touch your skin, there's no surprise, no unexpected feeling. But when someone else suddenly tickles you, your brain can't predict it perfectly. And that's exactly why you burst into laughter. Pretty amazing, isn't it? Your brain is constantly trying to stay one step ahead of your body. It's predicting, checking, correcting over and over again, thousands of times every single day. But this raises an even bigger question. What would happen if this prediction system suddenly lost the information it depends on? Believe it or not, scientists have seen exactly that happen, and the story is almost impossible to believe. For a moment, imagine waking up tomorrow morning. Your muscles are perfectly healthy. Your bones are completely fine. Your brain is working just as it always has. Nothing hurts. Everything seems normal. But the moment you try to get out of bed, you fall. Not because you're weak, not because you're dizzy, but because your brain suddenly has no idea where your legs are. Sounds impossible, yet that's exactly what happened to a young man named Ian Waterman. In 1971, Ian caught what seemed like an ordinary stomach illness. Most people would recover in a few days. Ian's life changed forever. A rare reaction attacked the nerves carrying proprioceptive information from his body. His muscles could still move. His brain could still send commands. But the constant stream of updates from his body was gone. Imagine trying to play your favorite video game, using a controller that works, but your TV is switched off. You keep pressing buttons, but you have no idea where your character is. That's what every movement felt like for Ian. When he tried to stand, he fell. When he reached for something, he had to watch his own hand every second. If the lights went out, he couldn't stay standing. Doctors believed he would spend the rest of his life in a wheelchair, but Ian refused to give up. After years of determination, he taught himself to move again, not by getting his proprioception back, but by replacing it with something else, his eyesight. Every step became a conscious decision. Every movement had to be carefully watched. Something that takes you less than a second could take Ian complete concentration. His story taught scientists something incredible. Proprioception isn't just helpful. It isn't just another sense. It's the silent system that makes almost every movement possible. And without it, even the simplest actions become almost impossible. But Ian's story also revealed something even more fascinating. If your brain can learn to move in an entirely new way, could this hidden sense be trained and improved in the rest of us too? The answer is yes, and you've probably seen it happen countless times without realizing it. Picture a basketball player. They don't stare at the ball while dribbling. They can look at their teammates, watch the defenders, and still know exactly where the ball is. And it isn't just talent, it's practice. Lots of it. Every repetition teaches the brain something new. It fine-tunes those tiny sensors, improves its predictions, and builds a more accurate map of the body. Scientists call this neuroplasticity, a fancy word that simply means your brain can change through experience. The more you challenge your body, the better your brain becomes at understanding it. But this ability isn't only useful for athletes. It's helping every single one of us, every day. Whether you're learning to ride a bicycle, trying yoga for the first time, recovering after an injury, or even just walking across an uneven path, your brain is constantly learning, constantly adapting, constantly updating its map of you. And that's a comforting thought, because your hidden sense isn't fixed. It's something your brain keeps improving for as long as you keep moving. But here's the question that fascinated scientists the most. If your brain can build such an accurate map of your body, how does it decide what actually counts as your body in the first place? Scientists discovered just how powerful this hidden sense through something unexpected. Some people who lose an arm or a leg still feel that it's there. They can sense their fingers or feel an itch in a hand that no longer exists. This is called a phantom limb. It happens because the brain's map of the body doesn't disappear overnight. Even though the limb is gone, the brain still expects information from it. It's another reminder that what you experience isn't just your physical body, it's the brain's internal map of it. And that hidden map is being updated every single second by your sense of proprioception. Which brings us to one final question. If this hidden sense is working every second of your life, why do you almost never notice it? So, why don't we ever notice this incredible sense? For the same reason you don't think about breathing every second. When something works perfectly, your brain quietly pushes it into the background. Right now, as you've been watching this video, your fingers have been adjusting their grip, your shoulders have shifted, your neck has made tiny corrections. Maybe you've crossed your legs or leaned a little closer to the screen. You didn't stop and think about any of it because your brain was already doing the work for you without asking for attention, without making a sound. Every movement you've ever made, from taking your very first step to catching something before it hit the ground, to reaching for your morning cup of coffee, has depended on this hidden sense. And yet, most of us go our entire lives without ever learning its name. Proprioception, not exactly the catchiest word, but perhaps one of the most important abilities you have, because without it, walking wouldn't feel natural. Picking up everyday objects would become a challenge. Even standing still could become a struggle. So the next time you instinctively catch your phone before it falls, reach for a light switch in the dark, or scratch an itch without even looking, take a second to appreciate what's really happening. Thousands of tiny sensors, millions of signals, one incredible brain working together in perfect harmony. Every second, every movement, every day of your life. You've been using this hidden superpower since the day you were born. You just never knew its name.